Evangeline Lilly. She was just recently in a, I was going to say hit Marvel film, but them don't happen anymore. So, because she isn't out there, trumpeting the success of her film. I like Evangeline Lilly. She had some pretty base takes about, I think, the jab that we talked about on the channel, but I know I've sung her praises a time or two because she seems pretty much on the level, but now she's getting vocal. Now she's getting vocal about another thing that I like to take fairly seriously: masculine identity. Masculine performance, masculine excellence, whatever the hell you want to call it, the study of intersexual dynamics, red pill awareness, whatever the hell you want to call it. So about a couple of days ago, she decided to post this little screed on Instagram. Obviously, you can tell it's Instagram and all. She has her picture doing a Ukrainian bubba. Like, I have no idea, man. I don't know if they made her cut her hair off for the fucking Ant-Man and the Wasp, but what the fuck, man? She's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman with long flowing hair, but now she has a brush cut and she kind of looks like Great Value Sting. It's fucking weird, but it's alright. It's alright. Now she's talking. Why are we only applauding masculinity in women and villainizing it in men? And why are we only applauding femininity in men and debasing it in women? Oh, somebody's opened their third eye. Why can't we just allow for all of it? Oh, pause. Why do we feel the need to vilify a man wearing shit-kicker boots, driving a pickup truck, who's not afraid to punch somebody in the face? But if they are a woman, they would be the epitome of cool. Why is a man who loves makeup, cries easily, and stays at home to tend to the domestic responsibilities valiant, but a woman who does the same is pathetic? I think the truly revolutionary act is as old as time. Do not judge. Jesus, Buddha, Lao Tzu, etc. Let each be who they are, and let us teach grace and charity above all things. These overarching ideas are far simpler and more effective in trying to juggle the minutiae of judgment. They are ideas that protect us all from the excess of each person's vices while still allowing the expression of their self. Grace and charity are cornerstones of a thriving society and should not be abandoned. We need them like we need democracy, justice, and peace. And without them, we can't have democracy, justice, or peace. In essentials, unity. In non-essentials, liberty. In all things, charity. St. Augustine of Hippo. Picture of herself in Siwa, Egypt. That's why she's wearing the Nika, I think. Or is that just a hijab? Am I trying to get just a little bit too, high and mighty for my station? But it's interesting. She's, I don't know, finally coming around to 2014 revelations, maybe even earlier than that, society really only values the opposite gender roles when they're affixed to the opposite sex. Like, oh, okay, cool. I'm glad you're around to this, but then I'm also noticing a trend as well. Evangeline Lilly is not exactly a young woman anymore. And back in her prime, I have no idea what her politics or proclivities were before in the cut, but yeah, man, just scrolling through all her stuff here, it's like, yeah, I like her. And then you can see there's at least one picture, okay, where she has long hair. She's kind of cute. Yeah, she's definitely kind of cute. And I know that I'll probably find a much better picture of her when got to do the thumbnail and stuff like that, but I don't hate her revelation. I don't hate it, outside of the point where she said that everybody living how they want to ultimately got us to this point in time when people who were just trying to offer advice or just trying to offer an objective take on the world would take the information that, see, I don't know what you're criticizing, okay, because men can be in touch with their emotions and women can be more stoic. There's examples like that. I know a friend and I have a friend. And you can have those midwits that are out there that take any sort of description of an event as a prescription. We've seen that so totally recently with all of the stuff revolving around Rolo and his list of quickest way to become a high value man. But ever since that started to kick off, there has been a bunch of idiots that have been exposed, and I've done a couple of videos on that as well, and then I'm looking at doing a whole lot more because there's a bunch of idiots that are really coming out of the floorboards at this point in time, and it's very, very, very upsetting at this point in time. But so far her take is all right. It's just, you're a little late to the party, pal. And I don't know what the response to this has been so far outside of some people, opining on this. I'm sure that they'll probably say, yes, we need to return to masculinity. We need these dudes to sack up and wife up these hoes. there's a big disconnect. You're kind of missing a gigantic component of this as well. The only reason that the dudes are all bitch made at this point in time is because women, hey, take a look at that. They became the dudes that they eventually wanted to fuck. Like, you got to reconcile with reality on this one. It takes two to tango. And if you know anything about intersexual dynamics, who controls access to sex outside of those extreme examples that involve get over here, bitch, which I'm never, ever, ever advocating for. Don't get it fucking twisted, okay? Women control access to sex. Men control access to relationships. That's why a woman can retroactively, like Tiger Woods' ex-girlfriend that he kicked to the curb. It's like, all right, beat a bitch, and now all of a sudden she's claiming sexual harassment. Are you retarded? But yeah, obviously, a woman can decide exclusively. If she wants to go out and get fucked tonight, outside of being a horrendous pig, and even still, that's not 100%, because you take a look at some of these swine that are waddling around the streets, it's all but certain. If she wants to go out there and get fucked, she can absolutely get fucked. But a guy has to provide and present so many important high-level characteristics in order to even be considered as a potential mate, and then depending on his value from there has to jump through a subsequent amount of hoops in order to potentially maybe get some starfish box. Like, it's not even close to being worth it at this point in time. But I'm not a black pillar. I'm not one of these MGTOW guys. I'm just here to take a look at the scenario at which it's at and tell you to either become the best version of yourself or get the fuck out of the way. You can go watch a Better Bachelor video if you just want to languish in mediocrity. Anyways, you want to know what's eminently nice about Ant-Man and the Wasp star Evangeline Lilly, aside from the obvious? Yeah, I don't know if you think you're gay and then you just like a chick with a brush cut. Okay, it's genuinely hard to discern what her political and ideological stances are. Yeah, that's also the exact same rhetoric that you hear around people that say, well, I kind of liked the new movie. Why did you like it? Well, nobody hated me. Okay, was it good though? Oh, was it woke? Okay, great. Have we lowered our standards that far? In Hollywood landscape, inundated with celebrities who wear their leftism on their sleeves like a proud badge of honor. See, she isn't a raging lefty like Mark Hamill, or why is it all the Marks? The dude who's not Edward Norton that plays the Hulk, Mark Ruffalo. There we go. It's like, okay, she had a pretty base take, and Chris Pratt is like, I like God, and everybody's, yeah, he's a conservative and we need to boycott his movies, even though he's in some of the most successful projects that have been out in the past 5 years, but whatever. The actress, however, may have tipped her hand about her personal beliefs in a scathing Instagram post, tearing into modern conceptions of masculinity and femininity. Why are we only applauding masculinity in women and villainizing it in men? It's mostly because that's kind of been the undercurrent of culture, which all of those brainlets over at Daily Wire just want to go ahead and toss aside, because you take a look at, hey man, I like John Hughes movies as much as the next person, but when it first hit me right in the fucking skull that this shit has been going on since the 80s, probably even earlier than that. But my prime example, something that I watch over Christmas every single year with my family, Christmas Vacation. Now, it came out, I think, 89. I think it's a year older than I am. Regardless, it was around late 80s, early 90s, whatever it was. Who was the bumbling asshole? Well, of course, it was Clark Griswold. It was Chevy Chase's character, and his wife, Beverly D'Angelo, who, I forget her name. I know, I've watched it like at least 24 times that I can remember. She's the one who finds the switch in order to turn the Christmas lights on. She's the one who properly calms down Clark so that he doesn't descend into complete and total madness. Even the parents, the maternal grandparents, look at Clark like a blithering asshole, like, oh my god, our daughter decided to shack up with this loser. And yeah, he did come around, and yes, everything worked out in the end, and who's the only other bumbling idiot character? Like, the kids they look up to their father. It's like, yeah, he's a good guy, but he's a bit of an ass. Now, Randy Quaid's character, he's hilarious. He's incredibly quotable. Like, okay, you see on this side, it's absolutely fine, but this a little government plastic, and if it dance, I'm gonna have my hair ain't gonna look right when I part it on this side, or my wife fires up the microwave and I piss my pants and forget who I am for about 30 minutes. Hilarious shit. But it wasn't so overt, because it was not so out and out about it. Hell, other popular John Hughes movies at the time. Home Alone, The Wet Bandits, blithering morons. Outsmarted by Macaulay Culkin. You can run down the list, and obviously you could find exceptions. But it was always the woman being the rock, but she just happened to be more feminine at the time. But now, all of a sudden, yeah, ever since the rise of, I would argue, Angelina Jolie in action movie films, make me sick to my stomach because they kind of fucking suck. But yeah, her 80-pound frame flipping all over the place, beating the piss out of 220-pound dudes that are black belts in martial arts. Yeah, okay, very fucking believable. But everybody goes, you go, girl. Oh, she's so hot. Look at her tits. Yeah, don't mind her fucking atrocious lips and her wonky eyes, but okay. But yes, and why are we only applauding femininity in men and debasing it in women? Because then you want to take a look deeper than that? Well, then you kind of have the communist idea that you need to take women out of the homes and break up the nuclear family because the kids are more important to the state than they are to the nuclear family. And then you can inject feminism in there, which was basically a big old ploy in order to dilute the work of the labor market, in order to pay people less for the big corporations that are out there. Like, we could go into a really deep, dark spiral, but in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of all been planned. It's been in the works if you know where to look for a long time. And the best thing you can do is stop giving a fuck what everybody who you don't give a shit about their opinion has to say about the topic. That would be my input on the situation. Yeah, we already read through all of it. Now, it does not need to be said, it's a fair game to question Lilly's conservative bona fides and theological knowledge based on this point. Do not judge is a classic leftist misconception, which, yeah, we judge everything every single day. So, yeah, do not judge. Don't judge me. Well, there's only one classification of people in the entire world that you're not allowed to judge, and you know why? Because they control 80% of the consumer base. And no, I'm not talking about them boys. I'm talking about women. Love your curves. You go, girl. Strong and independent. Because, yeah, you could have a feminine woman. She could also be 400 pounds. You're not allowed to criticize her, right? Don't judge her. That's why you take a look at all of the big brands. All of the big brands. What are they marketing? Now, I'm a little bit softer, pause, when it comes to fat chicks marketing certain types of athletic gear. Like, okay, I'm fine. I'm never going to make fun of a fat person that's out there working out. I was there. I was almost 4 bills. Actually, yeah, give or take 4 bills. The scale stops at a certain point in time, and I was still, tipping it off. So yeah, I found me a big old t-shirt and some big old fucking sweatpants. And I got my fat ass to the gym. So if you're going to market to that group of people, totally fine with that, as long as they're actually working out and it's not those, triple XL yoga pants that they just end up fucking greasing themselves into and jumping off the bed into in order to waddle around Walmart. Not exactly the same thing. But yeah, you can go ahead and thump your Bible, read your John 7:24. How about your John 3:16? Well, Austin, you already know. It's more than fair to judge who things say, and up is down. Yeah, men can be biological women. Yeah, all that stuff. If you want to go ahead and bang your fucking Bible there for a second, you're just playing into the leftist narrative as well, that your feelings are more important than facts. Listen, man. You can run it back. You can find your examples over and over and over again. There has been a confusion when it comes to traditional gender roles. You know why they're traditional? Because they fucking work. You also have to assess what worked in the past. Can it work in today's day and age? And chances are, if it worked in the 50s, it ain't working today. Because this little gimmick called a cell phone, changed the entire way we view and use the world. Because guess what? Your parents that grew up, and hey, hopefully you also come from a nice, strong, settled family. Fuck, my parents, hey, shout out to them, been together for 35 years, okay? They've been married for that long. They've been together for even longer. Like, they have a happy, healthy relationship. It's not something that I can get in today's day and age. I'll just keep it a buck. They don't build couples like they used to. My mother maybe has a Facebook account. Like, outside of that, no social media at all whatsoever. The only thing that she does is she checks in a video every once in a while. Okay. Funny story. Back before I did this redesign on the channel, I had the other layout for like a year and a half. I think it was about that long. And she told me at about the beginning of this year that I really like the redesign you did on the channel. What are you talking? Oh, right. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Mom. That's how much she's on the internet. You cannot find that equivalent girl. I'm sure they exist out there, but I have yet to come across one that doesn't have at least 3 of the big social media accounts. Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. They're all over all of this stuff, getting access to the globalized sexual marketplace. I'm not saying that I don't stack up. Fuck, you run some of my numbers and I'm in the top 99th 100th percentile when it comes to certain attributes, which we don't need to get into. But the world that Evangeline Lilly is opining for, the author of this article, the tradcons that you find all over Twitter right now, it doesn't exist anymore. You may want it back. You might think that that's the way that things should be. But we can't live in a world that is all shoulds, coulds, woulds, and is. We can. We can live in a world of is. Because, hey man, if you assess what's going on right now, you can conform and comport to the way that is best for you to achieve your goals into the future. Frankly, that's about the only way that you can. Otherwise, you're just kind of left up to the wind. And as those idiot, brainlet chicks will say, oh, you could just manifest it. Only women are allowed to think like that. If you want to be a successful guy, if you want to be one of those masculine guys that are just going to go ahead and perform so you could get one of those good traditional girls that are a born-again virgin, don't mind those 28 dicks that they took in 1 semester of college. They'll be your good trad wife one day. Oh, I almost got through that without chuckling. But become the best version of yourself so you can demand the best version of yourself, because there's no going back. It's not a pendulum. Society is not a pendulum. It is simply a course that we're going straight forward on. So there's time for you individually to course correct. Whether you want to take that hard path, that's totally up to you though. Otherwise, just continue to chase the tail of people that are never gonna listen to you anyways. Like, supplicate all you want. Never gonna get the attention of a fucking movie star. Never gonna get the attention of those chicks that have 6-digit social media followings. You are out of your fucking mind if you think that's gonna happen. You think that those tradcon chicks that are all over the internet, those trad thoughts that are out there, oh, I'm just looking for a traditional man that's out there. I'd be happy with an average man. Their DMs are fucking flooded. And they ain't picking any average motherfucker that's out there. They're picking somebody that's above average, better than them in every single category. So guess what? You can go ahead and languish the fact that femininity and masculinity has been all mixed up. Or you can realize that those chicks that are out there are only looking for the bigger, better option. So guess what you got to be? The bigger, better option. That's not a should. That's not a could. That's just what is. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.